Five, four, three, two, one. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Well, I apologize for yesterday. I was accidentally, I put new hotkeys in and I got this really good setup now, a brand new setup. And only later did I realize that I had inadvertently streamed me sitting at my desk or looking around the office or talking on the phone. So I welcome everybody to try and do live streaming. It is a humbling experience. And that's the way it goes. So that said, and now we'll fix it. It just takes a couple of tries, but I inadvertently streamed like 10 videos, and I wondered why I had such low viewership. Oh. Somebody call me, pick up the phone and say, "What's wrong with you, John? Why are you streaming nothing?" Well, now you know why. And so here we go. We're going to switch cameras. Watch this. This really works. Cool, huh? Okay, let's start with Tom Fishburne. CX is more than just a department. How can we be more customer-centric? I'd like to help, but that's not my department. Mine neither. Good luck. Maybe not even a department, okay? 75% of organizations believe themselves to be customer-centric. Only 30% of customers agreed. The numbers were even more stark for consumer products companies. 80% believed they were customer-centric, and only 14% agreed. You want to know what's wrong with retail? Walk into a retail store, try to find somebody to ask a question, much less get an answer. Okay. Although top management may clearly express a willingness to focus on the customer, we see many legacy organizations often built on product lines, suppressing the kind of customer-centric initiatives that make customer experience the core, right? Okay, this year in particular has been a stress test for customer experience. Companies that excelled at CX were 8.7 times more likely to have significantly grown customer spending and 3.3 times more likely to have grown their customer base over the past 6 months. And I have to say, it's tricky. We're going to get into some examples, some great examples. So here we go. First of all, I wanted to shout out to the USPS. And for those of you who think there may be some funny shenanigans going on, I clearly believe that it's not the mail-in ballots. I believe it may be printing those ballots and maybe having them in warehouses, but way to go, USPS, I got to say. And I talk with my postal carrier often, and he said, we will get the job done. And they clearly did an amazing job. And maybe that's the picture for the future. I don't know. At least the idea of it that we can pre-vote is, I think, solid. And I think we're going to probably stick with that. Now, nobody's going to know what's going on yet with the votes. And if they find semi-trailers full of pre-printed ballots, I think we may have some contention. But for today, the market was up a little, and it looks like the best of all possible worlds. The Senate will block basically everything, and whoever's president or the House won't. Nobody will be able to do anything. I think it's amazing the founding fathers, in their wisdom, built government to fight with itself in such a way that none of us really trust the government, and it's like the only way to limit it. It's wonderful, I gotta say. So kudos to the founding fathers. And no matter what happens, that's one of the great magical things about the United States of America. It's in a sense, its inefficiency and ineptitude keeps us all safe. Okay, this was a funny article, I thought. Good to Vote taught Adore Me about influencer marketing. Okay, so there's this company that sells lingerie direct to consumer. We'll skip over most of that. And they wanted to help their micro influencers, which is defined as somebody with less than 10,000 followers, like me. Okay, So I don't know if I've told you to go buy anything. And certainly not that product line because I don't know anything about it. But there's an organization called headcount.org, and you can put out a crazy challenge like Samuel L. Jackson promised to swear in 15 languages if they get a certain number of people to register on the site. So it's simple fun, and so this brand, Adore Me, got their creator platform started in January. Each influencer created their challenge for their followers, promising to do things like cut off their bangs, post embarrassing photos from childhood, or let one of their kids cover their Instagram for the day. The idea was if we could get 1,000 new voters collectively, they'd all have to do their promised challenge. Okay, so if everybody chipped in, who knows how many followers. Well, it turned out they got 1,700, so they got almost 100% better. 70% better than they had hoped. These micro-influencers have a different kind of impact. People aren't following these people because they're famous. They follow them because they're real. Scott Adams had a Periscope just yesterday, I think, about this, that he said that his lack of tech in his production values of his Periscope meant that he could talk to the camera, and that he could talk to like he was talking to one person out there. And in some cases I am talking to just one person. No, we got more views than that, but it doesn't matter, because that's what I want to do. I want to talk to you. And I love when we get some engagement, we get some comments, some days more than others. But I think everybody's a little bleary-eyed today. Okay, so true fans, not just tens of thousands of followers. And so because of this strategy with this voting app, they can leverage a larger community of smaller influencers. And that may be the future of advertising, really. They had, I believe that this campaign, or this picture above that we just looked at, oops, I always got to go this way, that we just looked at was their Slay All Day campaign to celebrate its holiday lingerie. And they're disproving some major ideas about that market, which is who will buy online. The older women are buying things online, and what's going to sell the most. And it turns out that the frilly stuff is selling. So here's a story about Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' delivers. They came up with an idea. In March, we rolled out a little promotion called Free Donut Friday, and we saw immediate results. Now, what I think is brilliant about that is that, if you were able to drive to the grocery store, you could probably swing by Dunkin' Donuts and get a little slice of heaven and maybe a coffee. And, for free, you probably, spent more on yourself and got a creamy latte or something. And I don't even know if they sell those. But while you're out of the house, you made a point to go visit Dunkin' Donuts, which told you a couple of things. One, they were still open for business. That was a big deal. That was a big deal, that just to get that message across in a physical, tangible world is brilliant, okay? It gave people something to look forward to. They said it's one of the most successful promotions we've ever done, okay? So make it a point to go grocery shopping on a Friday. They also promoted bigger orders for their delivery, like a half dozen donuts or a 25 count of munchkins. People might be reluctant to order one donut. I would hope so. But might order breakfast for the whole family. A donut breakfast. That sounds like a treat. Okay, delivery sales since the pandemic began are up 120%. Okay? And their third quarter financial report said that its comparable store sales in the U.S. rose almost 1% year over year compared to last year. Okay? While revenues gained 1.6%. Most quickie chains are just trying to get back to sales of last year. Starbucks, for example, reported same store sales decline of 9%. So way to go, Dunkin' Donuts. Way to go, right? But it's given the customers something to look forward to. Lovely, wonderful. Okay, now this is a kind of a deep dive article I wanted to spend a little time on. And if you're not into customer support, we'll get to the summary right off the bat. Okay, so the idea was that they studied companies across the world, and they divided them into three major categories. Okay, starters, which had 0 to 3 of the 7 characteristics. Okay, okay, let's try and what I was looking for is what are these 7 characteristics, because they broke them down really well. But anyway, some key findings. I never did find that, but companies that were in the higher classes of customer service had faster growth, increased market share, and senior level support. Now, I did want to mention something on senior level support, because I, for a couple of years, ran a customer support company or telecenter. And one of the interesting things was here's a couple of things you can do, really simple. One was we had customer service report to marketing. And one of the things that gave us, a really surprising thing, we had a 100% money back guarantee, and this is business to business, and it was imprinted merchandise. And that sounded like, that's kind of like the standard thing at the time it was, for all catalogers to have 100% money back guarantee. And people would call up, and they would demand their money back when they had mistakenly ordered 5,000 of something instead of 500 of something, or they would spell their own company name wrong, and they would demand their money back because we had a 100% money back guarantee. And the customer service people said, it's really not fair to our good customers to give these people their money back. We don't want the stuff back because it doesn't even have their own name spelled right, much less a name we want. So the customer service people said, we need to modify our 100% money back guarantee to say that the imprint is your responsibility. And in this day and age, they can let you see the imprint right on your thing there. But we were pioneering this back in the day. But I thought that was very, very perceptive from the customer support people. They said, we want to help everybody, and we want to be fair. But it's not fair if some customers just want to cheat. And I've run into that in some other companies where, like apparel clients, where some areas of the country would have an incredibly high return rate. And so sometimes we would stop marketing to those areas where we found a consistent pattern of ordering an outfit and wearing it and then sending it back for a full refund. And, I really commend companies like Land's End, but I knew an executive, a high-level executive, that used to buy Land's End shirts, business shirts, wear them for a couple of months, and then send them back and get new ones. Well, that would be a guy, and our modeling system takes that into account. So we may still keep mailing that geography, but we might not keep mailing that guy. And it's not because we're mad at him or anything, and so keep track of return codes and keep track of a restocking charge in your customer analytics, in your scoring system. I highly recommend you keep track of that if possible, so that repeat customers that are chronic restockers don't undermine the customer support of your good customers. That's a principle that I think is really good. The other area on senior level support I thought was funny is one of my clients had an Office of the President customer support position. And what it was they put a desk right outside the president's office, a small desk, and gave it a regular line to customer service. But if a customer, and it was in a different area of the building, a little bit different, but down the hall a ways, so it wasn't really that convenient. So they took turns at staffing this desk. And they did their regular job just like always, but they would rotate the people there. But when a customer had a really bad complaint, they would say, "Would it be okay with you if we transfer you to the office of the president?" Well, the customers are like, "Whoa, this is awesome. I get to talk to the office of the president of the company. That ought to get me somewhere." And they were trained to handle it well. And but just that little thing sounded so great, and it was really effective at changing the tone of the conversation. Where maybe the customer was trying to bully the customer support person into something. And I was amazed at how well that worked. And then there was one other indication of senior level support, and that was that I gave the support people standing permission to transfer a call to me anytime they needed to. And I was only the VP of marketing, but sometimes that helped too. And I would, all of a sudden I'd see there was a call, I'd pick it up, and oh man, somebody would be screaming at me. And but it keeps you aware of the customer issues. I think it's a really healthy thing to have senior management take turns on the phones. I would take turns on the inbound sales phones too. And I knew the vendors, so I knew when a customer called and asked for an imprinted item that was virtually impossible. I knew that it was possible. It wasn't in our catalog, but I knew there was a way to get it. I just didn't know what price to put on it or how to get it. I just knew that it was possible. And I would kind of, they used to laugh when sometimes on lunch hour I'd go up there and do that. And it's really good for morale. And you start to see how much more difficult it is than you thought. And so, again, it's very, very humbling. And I think those are the kind of intangibles that any company can do, any company. And it matters. And according to this survey, there's all kinds of impact. But the companies that invest in customer support, and I'm not saying you just lay down for every customer issue, but I'm saying that the listening part is probably the most important, and the promptness of it. So when I have an issue with a company, a lot of times I'll go to their Facebook page, and sometimes I'll get an answer right away. Sometimes I won't get any answer at all. It's a peculiar world we live in where you can't find a phone number on a website that you ordered from. You can't find a way to contact support. I think that's a huge mistake. Even a bot would be better than that. So customer service, yes, is more than just a department, right? But there's some pretty simple things that anybody can do. And if you're really concerned, we can look up the 7 things that they were graded on. At least they boiled it down for you, and you can see where you stack up in the 3 groups. So have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. I'm John Miglosh. Oh, and it's National Stress Day or something like that. I was going to put that in my pocket and show it to you, but it's something like that. The first Wednesday of every November is National Stress Awareness Day. So chill.